Make this large, oversized decorative bow with me. My name's Charlotte from Flower Child and I'm going to show you how. For this project you'll need some fabric, some wadding, something to cut your fabric with, something to sew your fabric with like a needle and thread or a sewing machine, something to turn it through with, and an elastic band, or a hairband's really good, and some ribbon or cord to hang it. So I've cut 2 pieces of fabric the whole width of my fabric, which happens to be 54 inches, and the 2 strips are 12 inches. I've cut off the selvage and then I've cut one of the pieces directly in half, so it's 12 inches by 27. Grab those 2 pieces, lay it on your wadding, and you want to leave a little gap at the end so you don't have a bulky seam. And it doesn't matter that your wadding is a bit big or sticking over the edge, we're going to trim it up, but we're going to sew along the top and the bottom with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Trim away any excess wadding, and then we're going to want to turn through this shape, which is going to be our bow. Press it down with your fingers on the seam and then make sure that it sits nice and flat with the iron. Take the 2 raw edges together and sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Turn this through and then press that seam. Centralize the seam and fold it over in half so the seam is touching. Fold the top side over into thirds and pressing with your fingers as you go. Turn this over and do the other side in exactly the same way. Grab an elastic band or a hairband and you want to wiggle it along the concertina shape to hold your bow together in the middle. You can use thread if you want, or a ribbon, and tie it around the middle. But I've just doubled over this hairband and then I'm going to just wiggle it down. Arrange your bow until you're happy with it and it's symmetrical. Take your second piece of fabric, which is 12 inches by 54, and this is going to make your tails. Open out the length and fold it lengthways, pressing it down with your hands. Fold over the corner so you can cut off that 45-degree angle. And do that on both ends. Then you're going to sew around the shape with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, leaving a gap in the middle so you can turn it through. Clip the corners so your points turn up nicely, and then you can start to turn it through. You can see where I've stitched it here and then I've left a gap so that I can turn it through. Once you've turned it through so far, put a chopstick in or a blunt knitting needle and then you can poke out those corners. Give everything a good press so the seams lay flat. Where the opening is in the middle, you want to start to fold over your tails into a bow, concealing that open gap in the middle. No need to sew it up because it's going to be held inside in a knot. Wrap it around your bow and you're going to tie a knot, but what you want to do is make sure your tails are even, so this may take a little bit of fiddling about with to get the knot so that both of the tails are the same length. Turn it over to the back and make sure that everything is laying nicely and it's just how you want it to be. Grab some ribbon or cord and slide it into the back of your knot, and then you can make a loop. You can tie it around something like a Christmas tree or hang it up. You can shorten the loop, and there you have it. You have your wonderful decorative oversized bow. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more.